Well, we're back in full force here. Sifu David Ackrish with Black Dragon Modern Combat. And this is the 15th, number 15 installment of 20 key principles of the Mook Jong. And today I'm just going to talk, and not do any demonstrating, because that is not part of I could maybe on some part of it, part of the two topic subjects that are number 15. So it's a two-part deal. The first part is empty mind. So mushin or no mushin, or empty mind, so I've talked about it before. So we'll talk about it a little bit more during training. And then an interesting one that goes along with it is, which is kind of funny, and it's something that somebody brought up a long time ago, and I kind of thought about it. There's things that people bring up, and you think about it kind of the rest of your life, and I guess I'll never forget about this, but facial expressions while training. And what's funny is I've been, by the way, welcome, hello, new and old subscribers, and this is a new channel. I am claiming to really be outside of the box and say there's no box when it comes to close quarter combat and self-defense. I do use the terms fighting and martial arts, but I don't use them. I use them because that's what people are used to, but it's not in really my vernacular of what I do and what I believe in. I believe those labels go somewhere else, but I'm still use them sometimes here and there. Because this people relate to. It's okay, you know. I'm definitely writing my own wave, do my own thing. I don't do short videos on lessons, and which I am going to do some lessons. I'm going to talk about that here in a moment. But I just go as far as I go, and it seems sometimes to be half an hour, or a lot of times. I don't know why. It just ends up being that way. So that's just kind of the internal clock I have. But this channel is really to shed new light, new ideas, especially my own ideas after years and years, decades and decades of consistent training, looking at different systems, seeing different people, hearing things. I now listen to videos every once in a while, because I'm doing this, and I'm just peeking, that's a bad thing. Peeking into just what other people are doing, what they're saying. To be honest, a lot of information, just me, I'm not telling you in any way, shape, or form to believe in what I believe in. But there's a lot of moths here in Albuquerque. But there's a lot I just don't agree with. And sometimes I see a little piece of the pie, but so much I find to be ridiculous. I have to be honest, with myself, or I don't know who's going to be honest for me. But I don't want to be. I'm not going to say names, and that's just bad. And some people may say stuff about me. It's going to happen. But I don't want to be disrespectful. But when you put something out there, it's there for everybody to comment, to have an opinion about, or make a judgment about, or whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to. This is something I have huge passion for and love, and more than that, I believe in personal civilian training, combat training, which maybe sound kind of weird, but I do. And it's not my business. It's part of my business in a sense, literal business. My wife and I own, but it's me, and it's been me my whole life, and it's never stopped, which I don't know if it was going to or not, but it just hasn't, and it's actually stronger than it's ever been. But so what's funny is watching one of these videos recently, and thinking about this is the subject that's this is the next one coming out, number 15, the one on the facial expressions. I'm watching somebody, and they're doing exactly what I'm saying not to do. And it was just funny. It was like right there. It's kind of funny. So, you wonder if the universe is laughing at you or with you, or both. And so, before I can get into that, though, things that I've been working on, personally working on a lot of, has been the Iron Black Tiger, I guess you say techniques, just Tiger Kung Fu, and how I do a lot of what I do is an ideas of really the combat idea, and I mean I do forms and all that, but not a lot. But it's more now of honing the forms down into even the techniques, or maybe putting 3 ideas together. And so, anyways, a lot has been coming through, and so I'm going to get into that and probably do. I thought I was going to do 1 part, then 2 parts, and now 3 parts because there's just too much. And so, in that, I'm going to do on the Mook Jong. Maybe I'll get Tia to where I can just show some of the application, because this channel is not about application or teaching. It just isn't. It's even though I'm going to do some, and I want to, especially. So that's the next thing that's coming up. I'm going to do a couple videos on civilian close quarter combat weapon training, and so one of them is going to be just why even train with weapons. Is there even a reason? Is it dumb, or is it like that's what everybody should be doing? So I'm going to go over that. Then I'm going to divide up one section of one of the areas that I teach, and I teach two different areas. I really haven't talked about the school much. I was going to talk about that before I maybe before I get into the second part of the weapons, but because everything I've been doing is empty hand. But the funny thing is, what I really do is weapons. I mean, every kind, every double, single, double hand, all of it. So, but I'm not showing much of it. But what I want to do is actually do, I guess you could say, like a mini course on the Filipino. So, okay, so one section that I do is called street combat, and then that's divided into 2 parts. One's empty hand, and then one is weapon. And the weaponry part of it is the Filipino martial arts, which is a lot of people refer to Kali or Eskrima, modern arnis, silat. So very weapon-oriented systems. They're not all of it is, but I'm taking the weapon part of the Filipino martial arts, FMA, and for one section of the street combat part of my school. The other part of the school is called night combat. I don't want to talk about that right now. So, and then the empty hand part is the Kung Fu part, stuff I've been doing, which has been animals, Kung Fu, and I'll tell you something else I've been doing, and then the Wing Chun, of course, and I decided to resurrect it out of my life because I just been doing it forever, as long as I've been doing Charlie Fight, and that's the other system. And so those 2 systems I'm marrying. In fact, I'm going to talk about how they really are, instead of rivals, where they come together. So that's another video I'm going to go over. So again, and the reason, well, one, I want to. That's just, it comes to mind. It's in my head, and I'm going to put it on, paper, put it on video, and and I don't really see anybody doing that. And again, it's not a rank. It's just, I just don't see it. And so so my ideas are just, they're my ideas. And seeing the marriage of Charlie Fight and Wing Chun, instead of it as a rival, or this is this, that's that, it's pure. And so stuff comes to me, it just does, and I'm going to put it out there. So that's where it's at. And so there's more and more. The list gets longer and longer. But so I'm going to do a whole kind of an intro to the Filipino martial arts using, and I'll show you, so using a Kali stick. And I'm going to even talk about the different levels within the training, starting with the Kali stick and what it's about, and why. And there's a lot of people actually doing the stick fighting. Yes, I use the word fighting, stick fighting. I call it stick combat or weapon combat. And but to talk a little bit about the why using the baton, and what the attributes and where you go from there and all that. So There's much more to it, and why you might do something, and like in the warm-ups, or why you're training a certain way with the weapons, especially in the Filipino martial arts, and why it's important, why it's good for you, and why it's necessary. So that's a whole nother thing, but that's coming up, and that will be kind of a mini, heck, I don't even know, that might be maybe 5 to even 10 lessons, and so it's for someone who hasn't done, if you already do all this, that's fine. Maybe you'll see how I do, my ideas, maybe get a little bit out of it, maybe you won't, and that's what the channel's about. It's for beginners as much as anybody else, the master warrior who's, so, and I always say that, it's for everybody. So it's like a movie. Everybody can watch a movie, comedy. It isn't just for certain people who like comedies. I mean, some people don't, but you know what I'm saying. And so, so let's talk about number 15. And, a couple other things. Sorry, I know, I'm just like getting stuff out of the way first. A rare animal that I've been working on, and you may not even heard of this, is called the ape, or white ape. And so I have a rare Mook Jong form that's based on the movement of the ape. So ape or llama, or so you might want to do a little investigating on ape style, and what the heck are you talking about? It's not monkey. Ape is different. And so that's been coming through, and that's been something I've been working on. So tiger and ape, and then we'll just stop at that, and then we'll say the Filipino martial arts. So these are the things that are coming up. And if you haven't, if you don't have a background in the Filipino martial arts, or you're looking for weapon training, this is starting from the beginning. Go over these warm-ups. Things are really good for you. They'd be good for you no matter if you're in another system. It doesn't really matter. And good for your wrist, good for form. There's so many reasons to train in weapon training. So, but then, so we'll be going over that. So, excuse me. So let's get into the empty mind thing. Empty mind, so how you go outside, or you go to your gym, or you go to your dojo, or you go to Kwan, go to whatever, your dojang, whatever you're doing, and how you're training, where should your mind be? And I'm not telling you where. I'm saying there's a place where I go where it's not anger, but I always say anger fuels energy. And so the anger in Chinese medicine is your liver. Your liver is your motivation. So they kind of roll around together. They're kind of bedfellows. And so maybe that is a part of training. It's a part of the intent in your mind of what you're doing. So I'm not saying being angry. I'm saying, because anger, again, it's a word that is very limited. But there is anger is, maybe we can use the word aggression, because then that's a cousin to anger. And it's not directly that you're angry at something, or you want to hurt somebody, but maybe it's anger that we're trying to release. So that's a really healthy thing of opening up and releasing through the liver, and one of the main emotions of the liver is anger. So maybe it's coming out, but not in a way like you're angry at something, or that you're just emptying. You're emptying emotions, and that could be maybe one of them that rides along, and that's part of the empty mind, of emptying out. It doesn't mean you're empty mind, you're stupid, you're not thinking. You have to be thinking. I mean, you're dealing probably with one of the most advanced and critical and highly skilled things that you could ever do, which is train for close quarter combat. So it's not like you're empty-minded, and people, get, what do you mean be empty? It's like, well, it's a way to I would say fill up your energy, or fill up your your body without thinking but doing. Maybe that's it. Remember, Nike made probably more money ever on the term "just do it," and sort of that. And then there was a comedian guy who's like "get her done." It's sort of that too, but it's your mind is empty and awake and fulfilled. And so this is a really hard subject. So I'm almost saying, maybe think about, what are you doing? How are you thinking? What are you thinking? What are you not thinking when you're going into your training? It is kind of transcendental. So for me, it's very good for me. I come out and I'm always, it isn't empty, and it is I guess you could say it's going back to the anger thing, is when you're hitting something, you're smacking, you're releasing some anger that's inside of you on some level, even if you're not really angry, but you're able to release. We'll say, and in Chinese medicine, one of the worst things you can ever have is a clogged up liver, clogged up emotions, clogged up thoughts. And thoughts aren't just in your head, but they're in different organs. And so when you're releasing those stagnations, which is really good for you, I can't tell you how important that is. You're releasing things that you may not even know. Maybe that's what I'm saying. You don't even know that you've been holding on to something, and it's a great way, a great time to let that go, and let your mind go, let your emotions go, let your liver open up and flow. Because your liver, everything's supposed to flow in Chinese medicine. Stagnation is the opposite of longevity and health, and you could almost say freedom. And so, and become disease free. And so letting your mind flow openly. And okay, so I'm going to leave that one alone. That was kind of a hard subject. And then the reason I put these two together is because I can't believe they go together. Is there's a guy, every time he starts to do something, he does this face thing. And when you tighten up your face, you're tightening up your whole body, and you're not allowing chi to flow, or energy to flow, or your liver to flow, or your mind to flow. This tenseness, there's a lot of meridians in your face. And one of them, one where there's a lot, and it ends, and it's all over here, is the gallbladder. The gallbladder is they're all important, but it's super important. Problems with the gallbladder that you might have is like migraines, or like digestion problems, or emotional problems, emotional stagnation, anger, like I'm saying. It goes on and on. So you can look that up on your own, Chinese medicine, the gallbladder. And so the last thing you want to do, and there's other ones too, there's stomach points, and these are all strike points too, that you want to let that flow. You want to let your body untense. And if you're tensing up you're tensing up your face, your tongue, your eyes, you're stressing on your brain, your spinal column, the back of your neck, you're kind of going against what I think you're trying to do. And you want to be like a jazz drummer, which is flowing and moving. I've done drumming for years, and relaxing and flowing and drumming is so loose, and should be, instead of hard power pounding like Bam Bam on the Flintstones, it's the opposite. To really move into complex rhythms and things that your nervous system, in order for it to do something, you have to be relaxed. And so in order for your nervous system to grow through combat, or the combat training, close quarter combat, your face you don't want to be tense. So maybe you don't know that you're doing it, and you're making this. And another thing is, I was thought about, well, why is it bad? Or, why is it not a good thing? It's a tell. So maybe you tense up before you're going to do something, and someone goes, oh, that's a tell. And so being relaxed. I was watching, my mother-in-law was over, and she wanted to watch Bruce Lee movies. And I was like, really? And so she's never seen Enter the Dragon. And there's a part, I remember going to see Enter the Dragon when it first came out. And when he goes against Ohara, and he puts his hand out, And but actually, what's actually before that, he's talking to the kid. Remember in the very beginning about emotional content and about the finger pointing to the moon. That's the stuff I'm talking about right here. It's almost things that you can't grasp onto, but maybe you're getting where I'm going with all this, is to flow the energy, to flow your anger, to flow your excitement, to flow your motivation, and to not tense. That's why Tai Chi, I was thinking, translates to the grand ultimate fist. Like, it isn't even like the ultimate fist or the grand fist, the grand ultimate. Why? And a lot of people miss the boat on Tai Chi as being a combat system. So how is a combat when you're just floating and moving? Because you are truly connecting with the earth, with the heavens, with yourself. You're opening where there's nothing restricting you. And if you can move in a non-restrictive, maybe I might say all emotional, non-emotional, both the yin and yang idea set together, that that could be a higher level of your training or what you're doing, coming out in the physical realm. So these are a couple interesting topics. I'm just bringing them up, kind of just chit-chatting away about it. And maybe it's striking some notes, maybe it's striking some bad notes, I don't know. But this is stuff that I think is very important, and I want to put it, it's number 15. So the last videos on the Mook Jong are going to be interesting. There is going to be one on closing, so that's a physical one. But some of the other ones are, again, it could be just talking, just ideas, and take from. I hope you get something. I really do, because why would I do something and not hope you get grasp something out of any of this, this information. And so that's kind of where today's video, I think, ends. And I think I might put in the tiger in between the first tiger section, or part 1. I'm pretty sure it's going to be part 3. So that's coming right up. So stay tuned and get a hold of me at any time, and have a really great evening. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.